How can you get your rent reduced? Well, I'm so glad you asked. It's called a rent abatement, and I'm going to explain that to you right now. A rent abatement is a provision that is in the event that you cannot control or use all or portion of your apartment for a period of time. The judge will allow the tenant to deduct all or a portion of the rent for that period of time that you could not use those rooms or that room until the property is repaired. Now, the only way to get a rent abatement is to go to court and ask the judge. You can't just stop paying rent and then think that you're going to get some results. The landlord's going to try to put you out. Okay, so what you're going to have to do, you can file an action in court against your landlord, just like your landlord can file an action against you. Okay? However, hold on to the rent. Don't spend it because you're going to need it. If you don't have the money, you're going to automatically be evicted. Now, the amount of the abatement depends on the severity of the problem, how bad it is. Okay? Now, what is a rent abatement? Let me explain to you how you go about figuring that out. Now, to make it easy and simple, let's say you have an apartment. You have a 3-bedroom apartment. You have a total of 6 rooms, right? 6 rooms. Let's say your rent is $600. You're going to make it even. So that would mean you're paying $100 for each room, right? Okay, this is for the rent abatement, how you calculate what you're going to ask the judge for. Okay, now you say that, let's say throughout the winter, there's 4 months of the winter, you could not use one of the bedrooms. You had to sleep in the kids' room. Okay, so that one bedroom is equivalent to $100, right? So $100, 4 months you couldn't use it. So $100 times 4 is $400. Okay, now the landlord is asking you to pay the full $600. Well, when you go to court, even if you wait for if the landlord takes you to court for whatever reason, if you don't take the landlord to court, you ask the judge, you say, Your Honor, here's a copy of my inspection report that I got from the health department or whoever you called in your city, and I had informed them that and here's my letter that I sent to the landlord. Okay, here's my email, a copy of my email. Here's a copy of my text message. Remember, those are contracts. Okay, that I sent to the landlord. Here's a return receipt request, a copy of the certified form that I had sent to the landlord, and he failed to answer me. And I have been trying to get him to respond, and he has not answered. Okay, my bathroom has also been leaking. You know, you don't really count the bathroom, but you can say like $50 for that. So you've been able to use it, but not the way you want to use it. You know, so you got $400 for that one room. So you say, Your Honor, I would like to request a rent abatement of at least $400, and you can actually double that if you want to, because you always ask for more than what you're going to get, because they're always going to try to weasel you down. Okay, so even if it's $400, you say, Your Honor, I'd like to apply for a rent abatement for $800. Okay, because there may be more than likely something else wrong with another portion of your apartment. If you had no heat in that one bedroom, which is the case with me, I have a house. I was renting a house from a landlord, and one of the bedrooms was actually a garage before. I had looked on the outside of the house, and I was really looking at it, and I was like, wow. I saw the imprint, the indentation where it was and whatnot, and I realized that the floor was weak. You know, when you step on the floor, everything shakes, you know. And the summertime, it was fine, but when the winter came, there was nothing I could do. I put plastic around that whole room. I nailed plastic around all the walls, even in the closet, and it was still cold in that room. So I had to move out of that room, and I had to move in the kids' room. Okay, so this is, you know, only thing is, I just decided to, you know, not even bother to complain about it because it wasn't worth it. You know, the landlord's a slumlord, and he's not going to do nothing about it anyway. So I just decided to make good with it, you know. And this is one of the things that I wonder if, you know, some of the windows might be broken or whatever. Don't sit there and just be cold with the window wide open. If the window is broke, okay, if you have a crack in it or something, as an extra, if there's a draft coming in your window, put some plastic up there, okay? That's what they call, you know, that's what I call, you know, weatherization. That's our weatherization, okay? You know, we put our, you know, we have to make do. You have to try to make it as comfortable as you can while you're living there until you can get the action that you need from the court. Okay, because only the judge can actually request or grant you this abatement. Now, let's say, for example, your living room has been cold. You have a combination of that. You had another problem maybe in another portion of the house, another room. That's why you always ask for more. And then you go on to describe the problems to the judge. You say, okay, you know, in my case, I would have said to the judge, say, Your Honor, I request a rent abatement. Well, first of all, I wasn't able to use the bedroom, the master bedroom. You know, I had to sleep in the kids' rooms. Okay, so now that's one room that I wasn't able to use, okay? There was also, you know, you could say whatever else, one of the windows was cracked or whatever. There was a draft coming in this particular window, what have you. And then that would be, you can actually, you know, proportion the rent, you know, say $50 or $75 or $25 because you wasn't able to use the room completely and comfortably like you wanted to. You had to do this and you had to do that in order to make it comfortable for yourself. But it's still not fixed properly because, Your Honor, I got kids and you know, it's not safe. You know, what happens in the summertime when I want to open up the window and whatnot and that glass start breaking or whatever. You may live in a multi-family apartment building where you got to come downstairs into the lobby. The lobby is dark and deserted and whatnot and you can't see nothing. So that's part of the house where you live in. So you can ask for, add that to the rent abatement. When you go there, you ask that judge, Your Honor, I'd like to request a rent abatement for $1,000. Bring it up. Whatever you feel that you have, you say, I want to ask for a rent abatement for more. And you show them the inspection report, and then the judge will be the one to grant it. The judge is the only one that can grant the rent abatement. And then when they do grant the rent abatement, it is in stone. Okay? That would mean it's the final judgment. He will order it, and that's the amount of money you have to pay. However, you will be paying that money into the court. You don't have to pay the money to the landlord until after the landlord makes the repairs. Because what's the sense of you paying the landlord money and he ain't going to fix nothing? So now you say, Your Honor, I request that I pay the money into the court. And sometimes they'll say, well, give it to the landlord and let him make the repairs. And then you'll say, Your Honor, I insist on paying the money into the courts. Because I've been through this before. You argue your case. That's what you're in court for. That's what you're there for. More than likely, their attorney will call you over and pull you over to the side and ask you some questions. And you can talk to him, be nice, but say, look, I want to talk directly to the judge. So when you go in front of the judge, you say, Your Honor, may I address the court? You be polite and you make sure you give them respect. So that is what a rent abatement is. That's how you get your rent reduced without the landlord's permission. Okay? And you get a copy of my book, Tenants' Rights versus Slumlords, Win in Housing Court. Okay, I'll talk to you all. We're going to be talking more about that. I have some more subjects. Win in Housing Court. And remember to bring all your records with you when you go to court, when you ask for that rent abatement. Okay, don't say nothing to the landlord about the fact that you're going to ask for a rent abatement, because forewarned is forearmed. Okay, you just go in there, you prepare, you get all your documents ahead of time, you call the health department. You text the landlord, you call the landlord, you write the landlord. And remember, a text message and an email is also considered a contract. So you print out your email. I don't know if you can print out your text message or whatever, but you bring your phone with you or whatever. You can also download the app on there that can record phone calls. Okay, so you make sure you delete all the other phone calls and leave that one on there. And you say, Your Honor, I talked to the landlord on the phone and I recorded the conversation and I got proof. Would you like to listen to the call? Okay, that can be considered as a contract because, you know, then they got his word. That's why I don't want to pay him the money, because he hadn't fixed it. And I called him, I talked to him, I sent him a letter, I emailed him, I texted him, and I contacted the health department. There was no avail. And so now, Your Honor, I'm requesting a rent abatement. So that's how you get your rent reduced. That's one way of getting it reduced. Okay, and that will be in stone. So the landlord can't come back to you next month and say, oh, you owe me $400 for that abatement that you had 3 months ago. They can say what they want to say, but they can't enforce it. And if they try to enforce it again, you go back to court. You file that motion in court, and you tell that judge exactly what's going on with that landlord. The landlord is harassing me. The landlord is doing this. And you might even be able to file civil charges in court against him and small claims court and actually recover all of that money. Because the landlord, you know, if he's dealing with like that, he's probably a slumlord. And, you know, he probably has more properties and whatnot. You might actually get the other tenants involved. And you might even have what they call the Tenants Association, and I'll talk to you about that. But I cover all of that in my book, Tenants' Rights versus Slumlords, Win in Housing Court. This is available on Books Galore and more, and it's also available on BarnesandNobles.com. It's in book form, print form, and in ebook. So you can actually download the ebook immediately and get a copy of it. So I want to holler at a sister, and I shall see you next time for more information on how you can win against your landlord. Tenants' rights, baby. You got to be informed. You got to know how to do it. You got to know how to get the ins and outs. They do it. Okay, they have lawyers working hard on their side. And why shouldn't you? Peace out. Okay, so I got